Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Android Weekly / Android Q&A, where we answer all your latest questions after we follow up from the mobile news that happened during the week. Now, before we start our show, I want to remind you that you have 1 week left to enter into the giveaway. To get all the details, it is on our second channel, the Mainstream Movie Guy. And so you're just going to go over to that channel and enter into win a HTC One M8 and 2 battery chargers that are really good and nice looking. So yes, make sure you enter into those quickly, as those will be done shortly. It will be Friday is the last day you can enter, and then Saturday we will make the announcement of who won. All right, now let's get to the news. As always, we're going to start off with the news. Then we will lead into the questions that you guys asked during the week, and then I will answer all live questions at the bottom in the comment section down below. So if you're watching live and you have a question, make sure to ask it in the comment section down below. All right, now Samsung is still the smartphone king as of late. They have gone down, so it is important to know. But just to give you an idea of the difference between Samsung and other smartphone manufacturers, Samsung sold, or Samsung, yeah, sorry, shipped, because our shipments, not actually sales. Samsung shipped 73.2 million smartphones, and Apple shipped 47.5. Now, this is actually a little bit better comparing to last year for Apple, and down compared to Samsung. They sold 74, so they sold about 1.7 million less. However, Apple sold about 8 million more. So that is considerable. Or sorry, no, they sold more. They sold about 12 million more. So really big jump for Apple in terms of the volume of shipments. However, in terms of market share, they went up 3%, and Samsung went down about 3%. So you can see kind of like where the transition is coming from. And it basically is Apple and Samsung with the majority of the percentage. Now, followed by that, Huawei has dramatically increased, going almost 10 million more as well. And then Xiaomi has gone up about 4 million. And then Lenovo, again, considering Lenovo is also Motorola, they have gone up as well. However, if you look at what Motorola was doing last year, kind of if you count Motorola, then they went down. And that's simply because Motorola has not released any new phones as of yet, so they're not really gaining anything from that. So Samsung is still the king in the smartphone market share market, but they have dropped in comparison to last year, this time last year. And OnePlus One. I'm actually very upset about this and quite frankly annoyed. For those of you who are not familiar with the company OnePlus One, they really have had the worst way to sell phones ever. And that is they do it by invite system. And the thing is you think that that invite system would, go away over time and then you could buy it whenever you please. But it took almost a year for that to happen, and it's like, okay, they got such a negative response for it, and they're still going to do an invite system this year, and this just really annoys me. And to me, it's a failure, because when you have, say, even a person like me who wants to review their product and get it, I can't get it if I don't get an invite. And that's just, it's the silliest thing to be able to. And you only have 24 hours to use it, so as soon as you don't, it does become invalid. Now, I'm not sure if they're expected to do this so that they can, oh, well, we sent it to people, so if they don't use it that way, we can give it to someone else right away. But it's just such a poor look. If you can't produce more phones, or even being able to sell it to everyone, is so much better, and then just being sold out for a long period of time. I think that would be so much better than this invite system. It's a horrible invite system, and it just should be. I don't agree with it at all. Samsung has another patent going, and this one kind of shows us the future, which is back touch controls. This sounds similar to a similar style of a PSP, where the PSP Vita has back controls. It sounds similar to that, like a touch sensitivity, and then you still have, of course, controls on these sides. So this will be interesting if they can somehow conduct like calling, contact, things like that on the side to be able to activate. It's kind of interesting to see how that will go about. I'm really kind of curious to see how that will go. Like if you touch, I thought this was kind of clever. If you touch on both sides of the phone, it will bring up the keyboard. It seems like that is pretty intelligent. I think that works. So yeah, those are kind of things that I think would be nice. I'm not sure what this double tap would be. But again, these are kind of like interesting techniques that they could do. We've had for a while, like if you double tap the top of the phone, it'll scroll all the way up. That could again be more seen in different devices. And speaking of Samsung and Apple, which we're about to go into, apparently Silicon Valley, including Facebook, Google, Dell, HP, and eBay, is going for Samsung because they really think that this patent thing is really out of control. And although Samsung is supposed to pay 500 million now, they've still yet to pay it. And because they're going to put it off as long as they can, because they're going to keep going to court until they don't have to pay it. And then if they succeed, Apple will then keep going to court to make sure that they do pay it. So it's a never-ending cycle. Until it gets to, I would be curious if this actually ever would go to Supreme Court. But Silicon Valley is actually backing Samsung because they do think that this is kind of ridiculous. And it really is. Just all of these petitions for or patents that Apple has, and they're trying to, and that for technologies that they didn't create and that were around before they got the patent, really annoys me. And I really hope that Samsung does win this, because it's something for the future that can be devastating if really Samsung does lose this to Apple. And finally, we have iPhone sales are reported as being higher, but the Apple smartwatch sales refuse to be talked about. And this is a really interesting thing because Tim Cook has kind of gone saying after, like, no, it's greater than we expected, but yet he won't say the sales. And that's because it hasn't been that great. Look, it's pretty easy to tell that investors feel that way too. It went down really by $8 in one day, which was really just surprising. That just as soon as their stock hit, it went down right away. Now it's recovered a little bit, but nowhere near where it was, still being about $7, or a little more than $7 under from what it was before. So yeah, this is a really interesting turn of events that even though Apple smartwatch sales might be better than most, they still aren't where people expected Apple to be in watch sales. And I think it's going to take time, and it's just not growing as quickly as they might have wanted. And that's just what I see, because no matter what anyone can claim about, oh no, they're doing fine, it would be shown if they were doing fine. Apple would have reported the sales and show how their sales are going if it would be fine. So clearly there's something amiss here. All right, now let's go into the questions. If you have a question you would like to be answered, just email me at asktheandroidguy@gmail.com, and I will answer it hopefully on next week's show. Make sure the subject is question. All right, now the first one is from Leonard, and he asks, I heard T-Mobile is sending out an update to use iMessage feature on the S6 and S6 Galaxy Prime. Do you think they will push out the update on the Note Edge 4? So this is not the case, but I can see why you got it confused. What T-Mobile is currently doing is they're going to have their own instant message service. This instant message service will allow you to send much bigger files than even something like iMessage or something like Hangouts could send. So it's just another instant messenger service, but it's designed to replace text messaging, just like iMessage or Hangouts does. But if you didn't know, Android's version of iMessage is Hangouts. Hangouts allows all group messaging to be in one group message, so you won't have like split off. If your friends are in iMessage and they're sending you text, it won't be divided. It will be all in one group. As well as you also have the ability to instant message in groups as well as video chat in groups, which iMessage can't do. It's one app that's basically like FaceTime and iMessage put together. How Hangouts works is you have to have your friend's Gmail account, and then you message through Hangouts on either Android or on iOS. So that's the difference between Hangouts and iMessage, is that Hangouts is on both Android and iOS, whereas of course iMessage is only on the latter. Basically, you have to realize though that iMessage won't ever come to anywhere else. It's kind of like how BlackBerry Messenger didn't come to everyone else until BlackBerry knew they had lost, simply because that was their last good thing they had. Was BlackBerry Messenger. Of course, by the time they gave it up, it was pretty too late, and no one was using BlackBerry Messenger anymore. But that's the same thing that will happen with, unless Apple would go under, they would never put iMessage on another smart, because that keeps you there. It keeps you in the iMessage world and in the Apple ecosystem. So they're never going to do it. So yeah, iMessage will not be on Android ever. But there are alternatives to use for instant messaging. So you can see when someone reads your photos, videos, text messages, all that kind of stuff. You can see all that through Hangouts. Hangouts is my main one that I use. I think Google should step up and take away take away the message app and make Hangouts the default. Why do you think everyone uses iMessage on iPhones? Because there is no other text messaging app. They use iMessage because it's the default. So Google should do the same. And that is a big miss that Google has had throughout the years. But no, iMessage is not coming to the new system. However, I am trying to get the Grand Prime in, because that is the first phone that's going to have it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the Grand Prime to see, like, does someone else have to have the service? So is it only T-Mobile to T-Mobile really then? Because if this service won't be available on, say, like an AT&T Samsung smartphone, then it's very limited. Then it's only an instant messaging between T-Mobile, which doesn't make much sense to me. So let me know what you guys think. Would you guys use the T-Mobile's instant messaging service if you can only instant message people on T-Mobile? Now, the video size is pretty big. You can do, it was like, I think, 100 megabits video, which is pretty big and way bigger than any text messaging or instant messaging app normally allows you to. So that's pretty big. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about it. Essel, you comment all the time. Sorry I didn't get that right. But you're asking, what are my thoughts on taking off the back on your devices, such as a Nexus 7 or Nexus 5, to fix bugs, multi-touch bug? Should I do it? Because my dad is making me think twice about it. It depends. Do you know what you're doing? That's pretty much the question and the answer. If you don't know what you're doing, then no, I would not recommend taking off the back and kind of tinkering with it. If you know what you're doing, or if it's a device that you don't care if you lose it. So if it's like an old tablet, like for me, I could take apart my Nexus 10 because I don't really use it anymore. So like that one I could take apart and I would be okay. Like, oh, if I messed it up, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Or if it's something that's not working to begin with, then again, it's like multi-touch. If your touchscreen isn't working, then, why not, kind of thing. But if it's something that you like, oh no, I need this to work or else like my life is over, kind of thing. No, then I wouldn't recommend doing it. Being a technician for those kind of electronics is tricky and difficult. I know friends that can do all of that stuff. And although I do know a bit about it, my knowledge on tablets and phones is mainly software based. and my knowledge on computers is more hardware based. Those are my specialties on the two different platforms. So on a computer, although I will know some, I'm not a novice. I know, like, word processing, photo editing, video editing, all that kind of stuff, all the basic things that you would expect a person that's technology based to know. But I do know more about hardware than I would about software, I would say, from like the people that know like Linux and the people that know everything from, the command, all that kind of stuff. Those kind of things I am not an expert on. But software wise, I know very much so on the Android side, very much so. So, but hardware wise, I would trust a friend that knew more about it than I would to fix it. Um, you could always even ask. It's not there, so they might not do it. But if you know anyone that works at Sprint, they have technicians in house there, and they would know exactly how to fix it or exactly what's the issue with it. So yeah. Just as a kind of hint to what you could do. So yeah. All right. Miss Jackson asked, I got to Q&A, but no, you don't have to set anything up. I guess you got to the Q&A last week, but you didn't get to ask anything because there was something that you couldn't chat. You don't have to set anything up. It should be there by default when I'm live chatting. However, after, of course, it would be gone. Um, if anything, though, it might not be like as easy to do on your phone or tablet. I've done it before, but it might not be as easy just looking at it. So that might be one thing, but no, you wouldn't have any difficulty doing it otherwise. Glad I hear your thoughts on the new Note 5. Do you know when T-Mobile will get this device? No, I wish I did. Yeah, so do I know, or just my thoughts on the Note 5? I mean, the Note 5 is my next phone. That's there's no doubt about it. I've fallen completely in love with the camera quality of the S6. I like that it moves faster, but there is definitely issues with it. The battery life actually doesn't bother me. The battery life is not a thing that bothers me. At the end of the day, I'm usually now I'm very good at charging my phone at all times. But at the end of the day, I generally always have my phone charged to like at least 50% by the time I get home. So not the biggest issue for me in terms of battery life. It just that's one of my paranoia that I'm like always like I have to have my phone to 100%. But one thing I will say is that I miss the pen, I miss the bigger screen, and I believe that the RAM issues that is on the S6 that sometimes gets stuck, sometimes gets stalled, with just like it's just like it can't handle the memory it has. I mean, I've had to put Clean Master on my phone, which I've never liked about. I've never liked to do those kind of things, but I've had to do it simply because it just has so many issues with RAM. The Note 5 is apparently going to have 4 gigs from what we've heard. Last week you saw Sam Mobile said that we're going to have 4 gigs of RAM, and every report has verified that. So that's what I'm excited for. 4 gigs of RAM should be awesome, should keep me running. That's probably the most excited I am. But I'm also more excited for what Samsung will show us and tell us that we do not know. That's the really interesting part. Like, what is going to be out there that we don't know about it? And remember, although Sam Mobile has said that it's going to be released in August, that would be really early for them to release it. I'm still not completely convinced. Like I'm like 50-50 now because everything's been saying it. And, Sam Mobile is a very credible source. So since they said it would be next week, or not next week, since they said last week that it would be in August, I believe it a little bit more. If it does come true or not, we'll see. But yes, I'm definitely interested to see if it's true or not. All right. Let's see. Hi. Hi, Andrew Guy. You are awesome. Hello. How are you? Is it easy to download software on Samsung on the S6? What kind of software were you thinking about? So you're asking me, is it easy to download software on the S6? But what kind of software? Is it apps? because of course apps are very easy to install. If you're talking about like PC software, you can't install PC software on Android simply because it's a different OS, it's a different operating system, so you can't do it with that. Again, for any of you guys have the questions, ask in the comment section down below. I'm now going to start reading all those. I was just reading one right now. So if you guys have any questions, ask in the comment section, and I'll answer it live. But yeah, guys, so this week has been very hectic for me. I am sorry I wasn't more prepared, and we haven't put out as many videos this week. They should be coming soon, though. My editor just got back from his honeymoon, which was, all congratulations to him. And now I'm beginning to do all the wedding stuff myself. I have like a couple of venues I'm seeing tomorrow and the next day, and so yeah, it's a process. It is a process. Let me know what you guys are interested in seeing right now. I mean, we're kind of like, we're doing basic videos right now until the next Note comes out, or in the next. I mean, I wanted 1+2, but now with this invite system, I really am just annoyed with it. And if I don't get it within like the first 3 weeks, it's not even worth it for me to get it after the first 3 weeks. So we'll see about the 1+2 to see if we get it in the studio. We are working on improvements to the studio. So we got new equipment, from tripods to having different lighting, as well as we have a new camera that I'm testing out to see if this will be better than the current camera we have. So yeah, lots of stuff going on in the background scene, and just because it's a slower time right now for electronics, not that many things going on. So we'll see when they do come out, though, what will happen. All right. Hey, I know that. No. Psych, what's up, man? How you doing? Now, be careful. What did you say there? He's probably talking about ROMs. Oh, ROMs. ROM software, like if you're rooting it. So if you're rooting software, is it difficult? It depends on your knowledge. I feel that, so if you don't already know, XDA Developers is the site you go to find out all of the ROMs, which is the software you want to install to redo your phone. It will basically make it so that the manufacturer's version of Android is gone, and you have a custom version of Android now. Now, is it difficult? No, I feel that XDA developers have gone to be a step-by-step process where I feel that anyone who is comfortable with electronics would know what to do. Now, the more difficulty actually comes back in after you've rooted it. Now you're rooted. So what that means is because you are now rooted, what happens is that you have to continuously root your device. I remember when I was rooting things like my phones and my tablets, I don't root anymore. Simply because once I got a free hotspot with Foxfi, I didn't need to root anymore. That was the main reason why I rooted. And because companies like Samsung and LG allow you to uninstall apps that are built in, you can uninstall most of the bloatware now. Again, because of those reasons, I don't need to. However, to root, you're constantly, say if say you have Android 5.0 ROM, which is, that version, and then that ROM comes out with Android 5.1. Well, now you have to reroute, you have to reinstall. So that is a continuing process. And and sometimes, a ROM developer releases a ROM, and holy shit, this ROM had issues with text messages. It's not letting people text message, or it's not letting people send multimedia text messages like photos and videos. Holy shit. Well, now we got to take care of this. So what will happen is that now, because they have to do that, what they're now going to have happen is that they're going to release an update for it, and now you have to reroute. And those are the kind of things like, you don't get over-the-air updates as easily, and that's the biggest problem that I see with rooting. Possibly in every price range. Can you suggest a good laptop? Possibly in every price range. Oh man, I just got my fiance a laptop for her birthday. It's a Lenovo laptop. It's an Ultrabook. It's a 13.3 inch. It was originally $11.99, but I got it when it was on sale for $8.99 Fourth of July weekend. And it is, I mean, it's everything she wanted and more. It's an i7 processor, 8 gigs of RAM. It's a NVIDIA graphics card, dedicated graphics card with 2 gigs of RAM on there. It's a beast. I mean, it rivals my current desktop, which is why I need to upgrade my desktop later this year because she cannot have a better one than me. But no, yeah. So that's the main things about it is that it has issues. So because of that, or because her current laptop rather had issues, that's why I got her that one. But laptops are kind of more of just like, what do you need? And then you find out which one. Like the design right now in Toshiba's, I don't like. It's top heavy. Everything is on the screen side instead of on the keyboard side. So it's top heavy, and it feels weird. I don't like the new Toshibas for that purpose. I used to be a big HP person. Like HP, that it was the only laptop I would buy. However, they are hit or miss, quite frankly, over the past 2 or 3 years. So yeah, that's with them. Samsung has gone only high end or Chromebooky. So if you don't get a Chromebook from Samsung, you're getting $1,000 plus laptop, which I really don't understand why. I think they should be more in the middle too. But yeah, so that's with Samsung. Asus or Asus is the one that I would probably recommend to most people. And Lenovo. Lenovo is a good one too. It's just they don't usually look as pretty as my fiance told me. So yeah. What's your favorite custom ROM? I've been out of the ROM game for a long time. I know the most popular is still CyanogenMod, right? Obviously the 1+1 team, CyanogenMod. But yeah, that's going to be the most popular. But I was around when like every phone had a different company behind, or not a company, but team behind it. So that's when I was rooting. It was like there wasn't really like clear cut different oh, you're on Team CyanogenMod, you're on Team this and everything like that. It was just like different people that was developing those. So that was back when I rooted. Are you familiar with the app Custom? If so, do you recommend it? Can't say that I know that app off the top of my head. Let me see. Custom. So I'm getting Custom Industries, which is a live wallpaper. I'm guessing that's not it, or is it that? Is it the live wallpaper? Yeah, everything that's coming up under Custom is a live wallpaper. Which, let's see what it is. Okay, so it's like a live wallpaper that you can also put information on. It seems like it's cool. It's nice and it is custom. It just looks mainly like it gears towards the clocks. So some are pretty nice with the percentage of the battery on there, the alarm, weather. For me though, I would still I tend to lean always towards HD widgets. In my opinion, they're the best widget maker out there. But it's not bad because the custom ones looked rather plain background, which can be very good for one simple purpose, and that is the fact that it's not going to be a bright or colorful background, which will drain your battery quicker. Dark colors are better for the battery drain. Why does 1+2 fail? It fails because it's doing invites. I said that at the beginning of the show, but basically they're doing invites again, and invites were a horrible system. I rather it sell out and then email people as soon as it's available and then sell out again. Like that is so much more intelligent than this stupid invite system. You have, reviewers that aren't able to get it for months. It's like, it's just, it doesn't make sense. And, if they told me it goes on sale at midnight at this time for this price, I will buy it instantly. And then I would be able to review it. And then, this is just how everyone does it. But they're doing it by an invite system. And their invites seem to be so sporadic because every person I know that got the 1+1 was random. It was completely random. It didn't matter if they were very techie. It didn't matter. It was completely random. And that seems silly to me. It really does seem silly in that instance. And it really should just be right. The fact that they said, oh, no, well, we're going to do an invite system, but it's going to be different this time around. And the only thing I can see that changed was that you have 24 hours to redeem the code, or else it will go to someone else. Really? That's it? That's your big change? And you're still going to do an invite system? I mean, hopefully they're going to send out more this time, but with 1+1, all of us reviewers were so annoyed with them that it's just like, yeah, we don't buy it anymore. There's still reviewers that like couldn't get it till they opened it up to everyone, which was what, like 9 months later after launch. Which if reviewers don't get it within the first 30 days, really within the first 3 weeks, it's worthless to us then, because all the hype is gone and it doesn't matter as much anymore. So it's just, for me, they keep having a good idea and executing it poorly. That's what 1+1 did last year, and I believe that's what they're going to do this year again. I have one of my colleagues, very costly, not cheap, like $800 in the US. It will cost about $1,000 in India. My budget is approximately $1,200 for you. Please see the tax will take 25%. You please tell me the mall number. Here, let me look that up. Sorry, he's asking me basically which model I got from my girlfriend, or not my fiance. Cannot mess that up, guys. You cannot mess that up. Let me just tell you. So the model that I got for her, okay, so it was the U31-70. That's the series that I got, U31-70. And the exact model I got was the 80M500 7FUS. 80M500 7FUS. So that was the one that I got for her. And yeah, she does not gotten it yet. Her birthday is Thursday, so she has not gotten it yet. But yeah, it's everything she could want and more. Let me put it this way. The main thing she's going to use this laptop for is playing Sims 3. That's the main thing she's going to play this laptop for. But now, of course, the graphics will look amazing on Sims 3, as her last one, she had to do like mid to low graphics. Now she's going to do, of course, like the best graphics there is for Sim 3. So yeah. Yes, there is a wait list. Yeah, there is a wait list for 1+1, and there's a wait list, there's invites, there's all this stupid shit that it's so stupid. It's the worst way to do business, and it's just frustrating. Yeah, I mean, like when people ask me about the 1+1, I'm like, why should I even tell you about it? You can't buy it. Why should I tell you about it? it's that simple. If you can't buy it, why do you even care about it? And yeah, it really, yeah, and they're not worried about convenience. They're just trying to get the hype. But yeah, their hype just died because it pissed reviewers off last year. every co-reviewer, I was gonna say co-worker, co-reviewer, I guess, but every reviewer that I know in this industry was pissed off about 1+1's invite system. So the hype they gained was then negative, and they can try to convince us that this time it will be different. This time it will be different, and you just completely BS'd us. We'll see. Maybe there'll be millions of invites this time. Maybe like so many more people will get a chance to get it. Until I see it, I don't believe it, and I consider it a failure already. Before it's come out, yes, I do consider it a failure because of the fact that they chose to follow the stupid system they put in place last year that didn't work, that didn't gain them, that all the hype they gained them became negative at the end. And again, it's exactly this point. Why would I tell my viewers about the 1+1 when they cannot buy it? It's just that simple. It's just that simple. But yeah, that's why the 1+1 2 is failure. Yeah. In case the last guy didn't have the time to copy on laptop. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Armstrong. That is so nice of you. Yes, that is the exact model of the one I got. So yeah, that is one. That is one I got. Yeah, so that's Chris Barnes. That was what I was talking about. Live wallpaper. Oh, the live wallpapers are always something too, because like your live wallpaper could drain you more. Now that one looked more simplified, but again, I've not used it, so I don't want to. Most live wallpapers will drain your phone faster. There's very few that won't. I have shown off every Christmas the same live wallpaper that I've had for the last 5 years, which is a beautiful one. And yeah, those are from the company that makes them is called Dual Boot. Even I don't know why, but they have a battery manager version of in their settings for their live wallpaper that makes it so your battery won't drain quicker. It drains at the same rate that it normally would. And that is something that I think every live wallpaper company should make, but not all of them do. What do you think about the Note 5 so far? Again, the 4 gigs of RAM I find really great. We've heard conflicting things about the S Pen. So some people swear that there is an auto ejection. So the S Pen would be flat, basically, like you can't actually like pull it out. But how is it going to come out then? That's my thing. Because first of all, spring loaded could actually be a bad thing. It looks really cool. But that's my thing. It's like if it's spring loaded, it can kind of be interesting. But yes, that's my main concern. If it's spring loaded, it can go bad at some point. And others have said it's going to be the regular manual automatic. You pull it out and it's right. So we've got conflicting things on that one. Which one will be true? Well, we'll find out. But yeah, that is one thing I'm very curious about. Will the S Pen come to be just a point where you can just auto eject it? And how will you auto eject it? Is it going to be something where the screen has to be on? Is it going to be, it's like those kind of things I'm curious about, but we'll see. I'm curious about that though. The Note 5, I mean, what can you say about the Note series? It's usually the best camera every year. It's usually the best battery life every year. And it's usually one of the fastest phones with the best graphics cards every year. There's a reason that the Note has won the last 2 years of best smartphone of the year on my channel. And that's because they're always just they're the best phone that comes out at the year. Granted, they always come out at the end of the year though. So really it's kind of hard to say that otherwise, because the S series comes out at the beginning of the year, and while it's really good or the best depending on the year, at the time, even better than the previous Note, then you go to the point where, well, but then as soon as the Note comes out, it destroys the S series. So that's my thoughts on it. I can't wait to see the Note. I really can't wait to see the Note 5. It's probably one of the hardest things for me. I will tell you as a reviewer online that as soon as I get the Note 5, I want to tell you guys about it. Like I want to be like, oh my God, like I know this, and this about it. Like you should see that this feature, and everything. But of course, we're usually under embargo and we can't talk about it for a certain period of time until you start to see every reviewer's videos go up. That's when the embargo lifts. It's generally, of course, always after the announcement. If we get it before, although Samsung has never sent a phone before the announcement, they've always sent it after the announcement. And Samsung generally takes a month before it's released. So say, usually it's been announced the first week of September or the last week of August, and then it comes out the first week of October. So generally about a month. So we get it usually like 2 weeks, 2 weeks after the announcement, or at the latest, usually a week before the announcement. That's when we get them. So yeah, I can't wait to play around with them and test it out. It should be a lot of fun. But yes, it's really cool. I think. I mean, the auto eject might cause problems. Yeah, the auto eject might cause problems, but it will look cool. But it will probably break before the 2 years are up. So it's a really, it's interesting. I'm very curious to see about this spring-loaded action, and I'm also assuming it's spring-loaded, because if you can't get it out, what kind of mechanism are they going to use? I'm assuming spring-loaded. It could not be, though. I want to clarify that. What do you think about the S6 Plus? I hate the name. And you could hear me a couple weeks back. I have said this phone does not exist, everything like that. And then now we've seen actual like screen images of it starting up, and it says S6 Plus. I hate the name. I hate the name. I hate it. Look, if it's the size of a note and it doesn't have a pen, call it a note anyway. Give it a C Pen as an added accessory. For those of you who don't know, C Pen is a very thin tip stylus. It only works on Samsung devices. It can the digitizer, or not the digitizer. Samsung screens are more accurate than other screens, and this is proven. So that basically this narrow tip would not work on, say, an iPhone or an iPad, but the narrow tip will work on a S6, a Tab S, or something like that. I have a C Pen, and I use it generally on my tablets. And basically, it's just a fine tip stylus. That's really what it is. It doesn't have any button functions like an S Pen, but I rather them sell it as a note without a pen. I really would. And even though that would cause so many jokes, like, what? How can you call it a note? It doesn't even have the pen with it. That's fine. Pen is a separate accessory. That's fine. Don't call it 6 Plus. Oh my God, that's just so stupid. So stupid. I hope whoever came up with that name at Samsung gets fired. I hope they got fired. Magnetic repulsion would be really cool. I think that's awesome. I think that is completely awesome. Good job with that. I think that's that's insanely awesome. Can they afford that? Can the magnet mess up the signal on the phone? Most likely, and I don't think they'll do it. That would be awesome, though. I give you so much credit for that. Most people don't know. It's incredible, the force that magnets have. So the fact that it can push it is really cool. But my guess is magnets would cause too many issues with all the metal inside of the phone. So I don't think we will see that, even if it would be extremely cool. I am a little shady with the spring thing because I'm afraid that the spring will wear out and it's going to make the phone thicker. Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, if you think about how big, if you think about how big the S Pen is, though, in general, it's not. I mean, a spring should be fine for that. It should, it's you can make springs that small very easily, as big as the S Pen is, and not make the phone bigger. It's more going to be interesting, though, if it has. Again, I'm curious more about that. I don't know whether I like it or not. I think it will. Again, my stance on it would be, it would look really cool, but will it break after 3 months or 6 months? Would be my concern. Of course, I upgrade every 6 months. So I'll probably be on the S7 by then. So yeah, guys. All right, guys. Let's call that a show. We went about an hour this time, almost an hour. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate all you guys that spent the time to chat with me. I really always appreciate you guys tuning in. Please give that thumbs up. It always helps us out. It's us funding, so make sure to do that. I will be here next week, but make sure again to tune in for next week. I think we have over 100 entries for our giveaway so far. If you have not entered in our giveaway, make sure to enter in our giveaway at our other channel, at the RICKY, the Mainstream Movie Guy channel, which is featured on my channel. So if you go on my channel, it'll be to the right, and it'll tell you featured channels, and that is the first one. And there you can learn how to enter in the giveaway. All right, guys, thank you as always. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.